to secure that win.
Coming up in our next match, we have one of our international teams, 1690 out of Israel. They are in the teens. They are possibly looking to move just outside of the top 8 so that interpicking would give them a captain spot, which could have give them a lot of control over their destiny in the playoffs.
And make no mistake, this is absolutely one of the best teams in the world. They started out a little rough this weekend. They had some robot issues. They've gotten it under control. And late yesterday and all of today, they have absolutely been putting up the points. So they are trying to end the match strong. They're going to have a tough opposition on the Blue Alliance. 114 has been playing good defense. We've seen them play some offense. 36-47, the Millennium Falcons, also one of our strong scorers, and 71-57, one of our utility bots, as we've dubbed. They've played defense when they needed to. They've played offense when they needed to. They excel at everything. So not an easy match for these teams by any stretch.
And it's our last match. It's our last qualification match of the tournament. So teams have already started to figure out whom they're going to pick, what the playoffs will look like. But 3 rounds of picking at this tournament, each alliance will be 4 robots. So almost everybody makes it into the playoffs, and there'll be a lot of figuring out who plays in which match. And the teams out here, the last qualification match is always a little bit rough because you hope that you don't break, certainly, but it's also you don't have as much time to know where you're going to stand when it comes to alliance selection.
A lot of teams have already made their decisions. They've already solidified their lists, but somebody may see something in this match, decide to shake things up, and that could be the difference.
Excellently said, guys. Let's send it on down to the field for that last qualification match.
All right, let's get this very last qualification match announced. Let's start off with Team 5104.
From Pacific Grove, California, that's Breaker Bots.
All right, and their partners in the middle slot, we've got Team 972.
That's Iron Claw from Los Gatos, California.
All right, everyone, today is a very special day. Today marks the beginning of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. So please join me in saying Shana Tova to Team 1690.
All the way from Israel, that's Orbit.
All right, let's head on down here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a group introduction going on here. Starting out with Team 7157.
From Brea, California, that's Robotics.
And we'll move over to the middle. Everybody's got to reshuffle, get in the right place. In the middle, we've got Team 3647.
From San Diego, that's Millennium Falcons.
And rounding out the Blue Alliance, this is the last time we will announce a team for qualification match, so let's make it a good one. Everybody put your hands together for Team 114.
That's Eagle Strike from Los Altos, California.
All right, we've got a thumbs up from Fletcher, our field supervisor. The robots look ready. Drivers behind the line. Let's get this last qualification match rocking and rolling in 3, 2, 1.
Here we are in the final qualification match of Chezy Champs. Qualification match number 65. All 6 robots moving around this field looking for their piece of cargo. 1690 and 3647 have found theirs. Looks like we are 38 to 34, 38 to 38, a tie match coming out of autonomous period with over 2 minutes left. Let's see what these teams can do. 114 Eagle Strike trying to shut 1690 down. Says absolutely no scoring for you. But 972, that is Iron Claw trying to get in 114's way. 5104 Breaker Bots in position as well, finding a piece of cargo. The mighty turret from Millennium Falcons locked onto that upper hub, in for 1, and it's good. 114 will not let Orbit have any fun though, pushing them all the way around the field. 972 looks like they're trying to figure out what to do next. They're back on the move though. They've got a blue cargo trying to hold it away from the Blue Alliance. 7157, that's Robotics up for 1, up for another. They're both in. It is 82-64. Blue is expanding its lead over the Red Alliance here. Robotics up for another. A big hit on the far side of the field from 1690 into Eagle Strike. Eagle Strike coming back over. Keeping 1690 in the corner. The human player shot just a little bit too short. 5104 trying to get into position and also trying to keep Millennium Falcons at bay. We've got less than a minute left as the Blue Alliance expands their lead to a commanding 22 points, but the Red Alliance still has 45 seconds to make this one up. 972 and 7157 in the corner for Red. Millennium Falcons up for one. Robotics up for another. 5104 looking to get into position, trying to track down Millennium Falcons, change their mind, going for the climb. That's right, folks, it's climbing time here at Chezy Champs. 114 up off the floor. 114 going for high. 5104 onto the mid. 5104 going for high. Looks like 5104 is going to beat Eagle Strike there. Eagle Strike on high as well. Can Millennium Falcons get up off the floor? We got 6 seconds left. It's a race to the traversal rung. 5104 has it as time expires. 114 just inches away from that traversal rung. We'll have the scores for your final qualification match in just a moment.
We got some scores.
Scores on the big screen. It is the Blue Alliance, 124 to 105. RSN, tell us about that very last qualification match.
Thank you, Tom. Blue Alliance definitely squeaking out that last win in our last qualification match of the morning, which has us heading off into a line selection in just a little bit. Steve, why don't you recap that match and then we'll go straight into it.
So we saw a lot of scoring there from 1690 Orbit. Their opponents on the other side, Robotics, spent most of the match trying to match them cargo for cargo, just keeping Blue Alliance barely ahead. But then right near the end of the match, because we know Orbit can climb so quickly, Robotics really took it to them, kept them barely out of the hangar zone, and with just 6 seconds left by the time they did their lineup, they were not able to hang. So Robotics showing off that they can slow down some of these top driving swerve teams going into the playoffs. Next thing that's happening is alliance selection, and that's where the magic happens. So these top 8 teams have the opportunity here to shape the rest of Chezy Champs 2022.
Yeah, for the whole tournament so far, it's been random alliances. You do not get to pick your partners. You have to play with who you're assigned, and at the end of it, these teams have risen to the top. In the number 1 spot, 1678 Citrus Circuits, followed closely by Team 2910 Jack in the Bot, 6800 Valor, 3310 Blackhawk Robotics, 4499 Highlanders, 4414 High Tide, 7034 to be determined, and 359 Hawaiian Kids. And then we also have, sitting just outside the top 8, looking for an opportunity to break in if there's any in-picking, 5940 Bread and 3647 Millennium Falcons. An absolutely stacked top of the table after all of these matches, and now they get to choose their partners. And we can see some absolutely monster firepower coming out in just a few hours.
These teams played so incredibly well. Citrus Circuits missed out on 1 hangar bonus ranking point from being absolutely perfect, 5 ranking points every match. And 2910 Jack in the Bot got all of their bonus ranking points every single match. They just lost 2 of them. They had a difficult enough schedule that was the only difference. They would have had a 50 ranking point day or weekend if the alliance pairings had been slightly different. So lots and lots and lots of extra ranking points here. So since those correlate so closely to who wins the match, we expect to see really, really high levels of play in the playoff tournament here.
And I'm really excited. We have a new format. We have double elimination. They're going to talk about what exactly that means in just a minute. But I think it's interesting to consider the potential implications for alliance selection. There's less room for error now. You do not get to drop a match in a best-of-3 format. So do you go for some of these riskier picks that maybe can turn up in playoffs and outperform what they did in quals, or do you go for the consistency to try and make sure that you're not one of those teams that drops that critical match in the lower bracket? A lot of considerations for these teams, new considerations that they haven't had to have before, that I'm really excited to see how this turns out.
And specifically here, there are a couple of teams sitting well outside of the top 10 that are really high scores. So we're not going to see as much interpicking as you might think. There will be a lot of these alliances looking for that gem, that robot that can really take them over the top. You have an opportunity to lose 2 matches and still win, but there can be a lot of different alliances made up of really, really high scoring robots. So those 3rd and 4th picks will make all the difference. Are we going to see a lot of triple offense? Are we going to see the defenders that we saw do so well at this tournament make a big difference for the alliances that pick them?
And are we going to see anyone switching up strategies between matches, changing out their alliance partners? It could go either way, but there's risk involved with every single decision, every step of the way. We're going to probably sign off here now. Go have some lunch. Ruth, talk about what we're doing when we come back.
Well said, Evan and Steve. Just before we hand off for alliance selections, I want to remind everyone, RoboSports Network is going to be returning at 12:45, 15 minutes before the playoff tournament begins, for our double elimination playoff preview. Evan, Mason, and Adrian are going to be on the desk reviewing the results of the alliance selections that are happening in just a few minutes and how we think that's going to play out in the tournament that follows. So we're going to hand it off to the field now. Join us again at 12:45 for some interesting takes.